Hello, my Teacher King family. How is everybody today? I think I am working. All right, good. Let's just check what our gold and silver are doing. I'm going to tell you an interesting story between the bank and Meijer's grocery store. Big 10 o'clock drop today, 44.56 on gold, and silver 74.37. Big drops for no reason. I was watching a video on the petrodollar. I'm not sure what's going on gold and silver when they're the most demanded. So we'll get into everything. So the petrodollar I'm watching, and the guy trying to explain it, one of these cartoon guys, he says, well, everybody had to buy oil with dollars, and so it kept value for the dollar. Well, that's incorrect. The value is done by the amount printed, not that. The key to the dollar. I was doing my homework last night, and you'll be proud of me. So when we get to money, the functions, it's a medium of exchange, so it's trade. It's a store of purchasing power, so it should get stronger over time, and it's not. And it's a unit of account. It's a measurement of account, common denominator. Do you make or lose money? So if you buy a stock, what is it? The quantities of the medium of exchange, it must be portable. A little bit does a lot of work. It must be scarce for high value. Overabundance loses value. We are at overabundance, 100 trillion printed. Divisible for small exchanges, it works. Fungible, everything is the same. It is. Acceptance, it is. Durable, it is. That's the medium of exchange. Gold has all six of those. It is portable, it is scarce, divisible, it's fungible, and it's accepted, and it's durable because you can't destroy it. So that's the medium of exchange, and that's its functions. Now I wanted to read you. Something. The value of money, what money can purchase. The market talks in prices. Supply is the good side, demand is the cash, is what we do. 3 periods of economic growth. Worldwide growth from 1879 to 1914 was 5%. Everybody was on the gold standard. Money supply can only go up 2.5%. Prices drop due to productivity. So if it's more productive and you come out with, a new phone and all these iPhones and Androids and all these cell phones, that was productive. That was productivity, and the prices went down on the phones. 1920. What do we got? 1921 to 1929, high tide for the Federal Reserve, best growth ever. Only in the U.S., prices grew 5%, productivity grew 5%. That's what happened in the 20s and 18. So these are the 3 periods of economic growth. The 1879 to 1914, 1921 to 1929, and 1981 to 89, 3% growth. American manufacturing was 30% more productive because we had computers and electronics, VCRs, DVDs that came out. The worst investment for a bank is real estate because it's long term. Savings accounts are short term. So it's a mix of terms. Inflation, only the banking system can increase the money supply. And that's the JP Morgans and the Chase. That's not even the Federal Reserve, which does a good job in its own right. Keynes, he didn't like savings. He warned government spending, or he wanted government spending and no unemployment. This guy's a moron. He basically caused the Depression. 1936, the New Deal. 1938, increase in income taxes, inheritance tax, and increase in profits, taxes on businesses. When you increase taxes, you take money out of the economy, you put it in the government. The government doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, as we are seeing. After World War II, the leaders became much better. They were mostly Austrians, Seguro in Japan, De Gasperi in Italy, West Germany, Adenauer, Earhart, and de Gaulle were all Austrian economists, and everything boomed after World War II. That's why the 50s and 60s were so successful. Britain, however, goes to Bevan, and he's socialist, and they had a bad economy. So there you go. Good economy, you have Austrian economists in there. All right, this is the paper I want to show you. I can't make it any clearer than that. Hyperinflation, the worst stage of inflation is hyperinflation. The money supply increases, prices increase faster, inflations drive the whole system. So what you have here is prices going up very fast, 6293. Money supply increases, but the prices go faster, and that is because the expectations drive the whole system. What the hell does that mean in English? Well, you're sitting there and you're printing money. Yeah, piece of paper. You're printing money, and people think, "Oh my God, there's inflation. They're going to keep printing money. I better run to the store and buy whatever goods that I want to buy now: tuna fish, milk, eggs, hot chocolate, cornflakes, whatever it is I need. I better go and buy it now because my expectation is the price is going to go up even higher. And therefore, my expectations cause the frenzy. That's the hyper part of hyperinflation. So you're printing, but the prices are going up faster. The other type, the first type is money supply increases faster than prices go. So we're printing, but the prices aren't going. And I think that's what's happening now. The second is money supply equals prices. So they're printing more money and the prices are going up. And the third is the hyper, where the money is increasing, but the prices are going faster. Right now, prices are going up a bit, but not faster than the money supply. Nothing. The money supply is that stagflation is high inflation and high unemployment. The Keynesians did not think this could happen, but they did. So anyway, that's the shit we're in right now. My final exam topic: fiduciary credit inflation that generates the trade cycle. Beginning of the trade cycle, well, that's the whole 13 points that we can talk to at a later time. But that's hyperinflation. It's not that they're printing money, a lot of money. It's that the prices are going up very quickly because people panic. Like right now, we're saying too expensive. And so we don't buy it. And then the prices aren't going up because we're not buying it. I think because there's a lot of choices and there's a lot of substitutes. Steak goes up, I won't buy steak. So they can't just keep raising prices, which is going to get me to the market. 1913, 1914, U.S. changes. The Fed comes in. That leads to inflation and income tax. So before 1914, there was no income tax. They did do some tariffs, I think, but that was it. So that's just a tax if we sold cotton to British. Intervention period, end of classical liberalism. So we started socialism. Morgan, J.P. Morgan, our favorite, got us into World War One. He sold arms to both sides. What a guy. 1917, U.S. goes into war. Lenin starts communist revolution. Why did we not want communism? I don't get it. So we go to war to stop Hitler, who was socialist, who was trying to stop communism. And then we win the war, and Russia is on our side. And then Russia goes back to communism, and we have a war with Russia over communism. Communism is this government runs everything, and the public doesn't have any freedom. So you guys who want communism and socialism, good luck. Go move to a different country. Let's see. Germany. So 1921, they raised tariffs. They start the Depression at first. Easy money. Agriculture got busted. The government bailout started the Depression, 1921. 1924, new era, government ability to interfere in the economy, inflation. And this is where we're getting into the Depression, but it doesn't really hit till 1929. But as we know, it doesn't just start in 1929. It starts earlier. Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act caused the Depression. Trade implosion, major reason of World War II, lets the war parties come into power. Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, and all the mean people. The New Deal, no free trade, regulation, no gold, increased taxes, and they raise government spending. Everything that killed the economy. That's what caused the Depression. The New Deal. London Economic Conference was supposed to restore trade and stabilize the currency, but neither of those happened. That was supposed to stop the Depression. Why World War II? The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. The London Economic Conference never happened. And so you just had everybody going broke, so let's have a war. Sort of like what's going on now, isn't it? 1787, the U.S. Constitution outlaws tariffs between states. You have to be on gold. Taxes are based on population and private property. Why do we lose our property if we don't pay our property tax? For $1,000, we lose the $300,000 house because we didn't pay our tax. What kind of bullshit is that? Jefferson, free trade, low taxes, low government, rule of law, must be in Constitution. Hamilton, everybody loves Hamilton. He was an asshole. High tariffs, high taxes, big government, monarchist, nationalist. Everything that is destroying the country now is Hamilton. Jefferson wanted free banking. Hamilton wanted central bank. Jackson comes along, and it must be in the Constitution and zero inflation. Andrew Jackson, good guy. Suffolk Bank was a private central bank that, of course, did not work. The Civil War was about states' rights, free trade, slavery. South wanted free trade, North wanted high tariffs. That's it. It's always about money. Let's see. J.P. Morgan wanted monopolies and antitrust laws. He's an asshole then, he's an asshole now. Let's see. The Great Depression was stagflation and unemployment, which is due to the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. Stock market crashed, interest rates went up, business declined, profits went down, and that's what's going to happen right now. Government price control, high tariffs, big problem. Oh, we're doing it now. Went worldwide. Yeah, it's worldwide now. farming collapsed because we couldn't export. So because of the tariffs, they tariffed us back, and everything was too expensive. So we couldn't sell our wheat and our corn and everything the farmers sold to make money. You couldn't sell because the other countries, it was too expensive because of their tariffs, which made the economy collapse because the farmers were the biggest part of it. We didn't really have manufacturing back then, a little bit with Ford, and that's the problem. So these high tariffs just created this whole, you killed the economy, which is a depression, which is where we're at now. This leads to a banking crisis. 1931, unemployment, 8 million. 1932, government doubled income tax. So people have no money, but you're going to double their income tax so the government can get the money, and the government never should have any money. Government caused the depression, tariffs, price fixing of the farmers, high income tax, and subsidies. Everything's bad. You do not want to take the money away from us. You want us to have the money, not the government, because the government, they just take the money and they blow it and they just steal it. They don't. We're efficient with our money. I go and I get an avocado and whatever. And that was it. That's going to lead me to my Meyer adventure this morning. FDR devalued the dollar by 40% and seized gold holdings, starting started minimum wage, government spending at 10 billion, revenues were 3 billion. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? We're at about 3 trillion and we're spending about 10 trillion. NRA, National Recovery Administration, was terrible. Labor union, bad news. What do we know about the Great Crash? Reynolds, that's a book. Stock crash due to government intervention and the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act bill calling for an increase in tariffs on imports, monetary control, and the political business cycle was poor. So that's your hyperinflation, and that's the markets and the economy. Now, what I'm talking about in the markets, okay, I'm at Meijer's grocery store. It's like a Target. And so I go there, and Jesus, cold. I go there, and I do a little. I don't need much. I went to the bank. I had to deposit money for a bill, and I got my haircut money. So I got a haircut on Thursday. So I go get some broccoli heads. Sign says 209. I get charged 228. And I know there's this law in Michigan, if you get overcharged, you get 10% back. Okay. I got 2 of them. So I go, and really I was just let me pay the right price. You guys owe me 40 cents. And they say, go to customer service. I go to customer service, and customer service doesn't understand. So I take a picture for him. So I go to the broccoli head, 209, take a picture, say 209. Oh, okay. We charged you 220. We'll give you back 40 cents. Plus, we'll give you back 10% of only one. So they give me $2 instead of $4. And I'm thinking, okay. I said, I don't mind paying. I just want to get charged the correct price. And so I'm walking out with somebody, and they said, "Oh, you're supposed to get $5 back. Anything that they screw you on, you get $5 back." I said, "Oh, I only got 2. Oh, no. So I go back to customer service, and the guy gets the manager for. He says, "No, all I owe you is 2. I gave you 2." And I said, "Well, you at least owe me 4 because there was 40 cents over." No, if it's the same item. So in other words, if I got 2 broccoli heads, it's just 10% on the first one. All right, let me talk to the manager. So the manager comes over, and she gives me a $5 happiness card. Like, you're pissed off, here's $5. Says, well, I don't care about the $5. I'm pissed off because you overcharged me. The sign says 209 and it's not 209. And, so whatever, I got $2 back. Fine. Who cares? Then so this is the store manager, and I start laying into her on her prices. I said, all your prices are too high. I just walked the store looking at vacuum cleaner, suitcases, everything. You're way too expensive. And then I gave her this. I says, okay, let's take your 2-liter Coke. You mark it $2.99, but yet you sell it two for $5. So you sell it at $2.50, but it's $2.99, but I got to buy 2 of them. Why don't you just make it $2.50? Because that's really the price that you're selling it at. That's the market will maybe buy 2 to get them for $2.50 because they're going to drink 2. Why don't you just market $2.50? So obviously there's a psychological ploy of you getting of you buying 2 of them because we can't sell any. And so she defends herself by saying, well, I don't really market. It's done at corporate or whatever. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. You're not understanding. So in other words, corporate, what they do is they check the competition, see what the competition's selling for, and that's what they sell it for. And I'm saying you're missing the whole point. The point isn't the competition. The point is the market. What will the market pay for it? The market is not paying $3 for it. Yet you're marking it at 3 because your competition's marked at 3. And you think that's a good thing, but you're missing the point. You're not at market. What people are willing to pay for it is $2.50. That's why you're on sale every day for 2 for $5. You're trying to sell it at $2.50. And I don't even know if the market's there. But you're up here at $3. I saw my meat store was $3.66. I just rolled my eyes and laughed, going, you ain't selling anything. I mean, at worst, Myers is at least $3. You're 60 cents over them. Who the fuck's going to buy a Coke at the meat store? And so you're sitting there and you're just trying to explain to her, and she's like deflecting it by saying, well, I don't really set the price. You're the manager of the store. It's your store. Yeah, you do set the price. Well, no, the corporate does all that. That's like socialism. That, in other words, when the government price fixes things, where the government tries to control things like interest rates, stuff like that, that's not the market. The market should be controlling it. And to say, well, headquarters prices, there's no fucking way. I said, you're going to be out of business. You don't understand. First of all, people have less money to spend. Gas gone up, and you have to buy gas at whatever the price is. Now, I did get it for $3.97 on Saturday. But basically, you have higher prices on gas, draining whatever you have left out of your grocery store, and your utilities going up. You have to have lights, you have to have air conditioning and heat. Now air conditioning. So yeah, you're way under it. I mean, I bought a fridge I got for $3.39. I got lucky, but I was smart enough not to get the big fridge. I got a little fridge. And I'm waiting for them to take my other fridge out, which I'll give them a call by 3:30 if I'm going to go swimming at about 2:45. So I will give them a call when I go swimming to say, take the fucking fridge out of the hallway. I'm not going to put it back in my apartment. That's it. You told me Monday. It's Monday. Have your maintenance do some work. Anyway, so that's part of it. So that's the market, is what we will pay for it. I mean, how often do I tell you this? Every day? Toyota tried to raise their price to 35,000 and they couldn't sell it. They could sell it at 25,000. You've got to hit where the market is. It's not about hitting the competition. If the competition is here, right? So the Camry is 25 grand, you make it 35,000. But nobody will buy it because they're only going to spend 25,000 on the Camry. But because Ford's at 35,000, you could all market 35,000, but your market's 25,000. That's what people are willing to spend on a car. I said to her, your avocados are like $3.99. $2.99 was way too expensive, but $3.99, you're not going to sell any of them. I said, that's crazy. I said, I just went to Walmart's and bought it for 64 cents. You want to compete with that? Good luck. You have no fucking chance. What are you doing? Why would avocados be that expensive? Who do you think you're going to sell it to? You're not going to sell one avocado. I mean, unless people are just total idiots and I'm at Meijer's, whatever it is, I'm going to pay for it. I don't want to go to 5 different grocery stores. I'm doing it driving around anyway. So I go to the club and I pass the meat grocery store and I'm close to Walmart. So I'm not going out of my way to go to these places. But I will save money on that. As our costs go up, gas goes up, I got to offset it somehow. And that's really what happens. So that's the point of it. You are offsetting it with by substituting and going to different stores for getting a better price on things that you need, like avocados, eggs, milk, stuff like that you're going to buy anyway. You might as well pay the cheapest amount for. And if I got to stop shopping at Meijer's and go shop at Walmart, I will, or the meat store. I'm always going to get my meat there because it's a better quality and the same price. And my olive oil I get there. They have blueberries on sale. I'll probably pick up some blueberries later today. But that's what the market is, what you can sell the item for, period. That's what a market is. It's not being competitive with the other companies. It's strictly, do I have an item? What will the market pay for it? And if you are over what the market will pay, you're out of business. I told her, you're going to be out of business because your prices are over market. Went right over her head. She's only the manager of the store. She has no fucking idea. Well, corporate does it. So when you lose your job, you're going to blame corporate for pricing everything too high? I says, you got all kinds of sales all the time here because your pricing is fucked. You're too expensive over market. The market is what we will pay for your items, and you're too expensive on most of your whole store's too expensive. Well, we price it from corporate and we look at the competition. You're missing the whole point. It's not what the competition's selling it as, is what will the market bear. Like anything else, I can sit there and go, well, all the other handicappers for football are $250, so I'm going to sell mine for $250. Well, let's say they're $50. Let's say all of them, they'll be $35, but they'll only give you one game, and I'm giving you 10. And I hit 70, 75%, and they maybe hit 50%. So this is the point. I don't look at what the other handicappers are selling for. What will the market bear me to get 70, 75% on 10 picks, pro and college every week? And that's how I come up with my $100. 75, and you're going to walk away a winner, and 75 in college, or 100 for both. And the bottom line is you're going to walk away a winner. You're going to make money with me. That's the bottom line. It's what you're willing to pay for it. So it's the same thing in baseball. $25 for a week's a joke, but that's what I have it at because I really couldn't figure it out. But I figured it out. I problem solved baseball. And so now I got a comment about the gentleman likes the way I have now gone deeper and looked at the pitchers' streaks. Instead of the team streaks, I'm now actually getting into the pitcher streaks. And we had it with Paddock on Cincinnati last week. Paddock was on a losing streak, and we bet against him, and he lost. And I got two of those today, where one pitcher's on a 5-game losing streak, the other's on a 7-game losing streak. So we're going to bet those two teams. And but again, I'm digging into it. But what a market is okay, let's say I'm trying to sell my Montana rookie card and it goes for $110,000. Well, that's what the market will pay. That's what I'm going to sell it for. But Myers, the grocery store, would say, well, the competitors sell it for 150,000, so that's what we're going to sell it for. Nobody's going to buy it at 150. The most they'll pay is about 110, 120. That's what you need to sell it at, because that's where the market's at. You're always trying to find what the market will bear for it. In other words, I can sell like my coffee mug. What can I get for this? What will the market pay for this? 20, 25. Well, it's a resort. It means something, like the Bellagio, right? It's like, oh, it's a nice souvenir. It's the Bellagio. So I probably paid $15 for it in 1990 or whatever. Love the blue, dark blue. I can't believe I dropped it and broke it. It was such a sad day. But that's the point. What will the market pay for it? Not what the competition's selling it for. It's what will the market pay for it. So you can make coffee mugs, you can charge $75. So, well, the competition's $75 for this. Well, good luck. You're not going to sell it. But that's what the competition is. Well, they're not selling it either. It's not about the competition. The market's about you selling to a buyer, you and the buyer. That's it. That's competition. And that's the market. You're trying to meet what the market will pay for it. That's why steaks at $20. Nobody will buy them. You can market what you want. You can say, well, the other stores are $20. At the end of the day, nobody's buying it at 20. You got to lower your prices too high. It's over market. And that's what over market means. What the buyer, you have to understand what the buyer will pay for it. If you're a seller, I'm handicapping football. What will the buyers pay? Now, I might be a little high. I don't know. If I came down $10 or $20, maybe I'll get more buyers. I don't know. People mostly just want the free picks and they don't want to pay anything for them. So that's really the key. If you're in business, it's what can you get? What will the buyer buy your product for? My Canadian club, my Barcelona plate, my avocados, my football. And the thing with gold is people will pay. We're not really getting a fair market there. We're getting a fair market on avocados and things at the grocery store. We're not getting a fair market on gold. That's why I bitch about it. Gold's $44.58. It's not a fair market. A fair market would be $10,000 to $15,000. That's what people will pay for gold. And it keeps being suppressed and pushed. Look at this 10 o'clock drop from 45.10 down to 44. It went down basically $55 at 10 o'clock. What was that? Well, what is that? That's a fix. That's what? And that's what we're going to market. And then people are buying. It's now 44.60, so it's going back up. It's bullshit. It's not what the market will bear. So gold's the unique thing where people will pay more for it versus avocados. People aren't going to pay $3, and broccoli they're not going to pay $2.50 for. So there's certain things that we're not going to pay that much for. Meat, steaks for 20, we're not going to pay that much. But gold's reverse. Gold, we will pay much more than 44.60. We will pay 10,000 for it because you have to have it. So that's what the market is. It's what we're going to pay for it, not Well, our prices with the competitors. And all I did was laugh at the manager going, your Coke's on sale 2 for $5 every fucking day, and you marking it $3. Why don't you just mark it 250, which is what the market is obviously going to buy it for? Or is this your little plot like we're a bunch of idiots and we'll buy 2 bottles instead of for 250 a piece instead of one for three? Really? You know, we'll buy two at 250. Why don't you make it $2? We'll buy 3 bottles. You know, they just don't think. Now, I watched the thing on the petrodollar today, and the ludicrous thing. We'll get to baseball in a minute. So, watching this thing on the petrodollar. What is the petrodollar? Saudi Arabia and the U.S. in 1974 agreed that if you want to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, you got to use U.S. dollars. So that somehow makes the US dollar reserve currency. It does not make the US dollar void of inflating or hyperinflating or going to zero. So he's trying to say, well, the demand for the dollar kept the value of the dollar high, and that's bullshit. The money being printed keeps the value down. So I'm trying to listen to him, and I just can't agree with him. There's demand for the dollar, so that gives the dollar value. Okay, I agree with that, but as you print the money, the value is far lower. Let's see, there was one thing I did on the value of the dollar. I thought I pulled it out. I took good notes. Here you go. Value of money. The value of money is what money can purchase. The market thinks in prices, supplies the good side, we're the demand, we're the cash side. So the value of the money, if the price goes up, the value goes down, as what's happening now. When the price goes down, the value of the dollar will buy more. But the value is what money can purchase. And it can't purchase much now. So you have petrodollar. So you're creating demand for dollars to buy oil. I got to buy oil, so I got to buy dollars. Well, that doesn't mean make the value of the dollar stronger or weaker. It just means you got to buy the dollar. But if you keep printing the dollar, the printing of the dollar is what destroys the value of the dollar. And then you get to the point, do people still want, does the market want the dollar? And you can see, no, nobody will buy the treasuries. Japan and China are dumping dollars. Russia's, been on hold. So really, nobody wants the dollar now. So the value of the dollar is zero because nobody wants it. Well, we still need it for the petrodollar, or some countries. You don't need it. You can use yuan or gold. Gold is the reserve currency, not the dollar that's printed to death. I mean, that's the first thing. And the second thing is the dollar, you can't keep printing. I made that comment earlier where it's got to be a limited supply has value, but if you overproduce, the value drops. That's the value of it. We printed $100 trillion or not more. It has no value, right? So the value comes from you printing it. It really doesn't matter about demand or people needing it for oil. It's you've printed it to death. Is you printed it so everybody needs the dollar to buy oil. Doesn't mean that the dollar has a value. It just means the dollar is used to buy it. So people, take, euros and they buy dollars to buy oil. But it doesn't mean that the dollar has value. But when nobody wants the dollar anymore, as is happening now, the value of the dollar goes away. So the value of the dollar is only there. I think I printed that yesterday. An increase in the money supply is inflation. That's the bottom line, Mr. Stone Cold. I thought anyway. Stocks crashed due to government intervention and the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. And we got that now. We got tariffs, we have government intervention. Trump is printing money. I don't know. I was looking for that thing. But anyway, nobody's interested in buying our treasuries. And initially, that's what the petrodollar was about, was Iran had money. What were they doing with it? Now, in the video, it was they bought treasuries, but they also bought stocks and real estate with them. They didn't just all buy treasuries. So that's another reason the stock market is elevated, is the government's printing money, and these like Saudi Arabia or these people selling oil what do they do with the dollars? Because they don't use dollars in their own land. So, which is also wrong. They do. Whenever I've been in Europe or Spain or Portugal or Barcelona or Germany, it's always use your credit card. And then they say, do you want to use dollars or euros? So you can use dollars in Europe. They all accept dollars. So it doesn't have to come back here, and it doesn't have to go into treasuries. But as the treasury is worthless, nobody wants it, then you don't need US dollars to buy oil anymore. You can use any currency to buy it. They're using the yuan because it's backed by gold. That's the preferred currency for Saudi Arabia. But so they sell the yuan, buy gold, and that's it. And they're happy. And that's the key to it. So you even if you use US dollars, does not mean the US dollar has a value. It's just simply used to buy oil. And they suppress the price of oil. So it's $90 a barrel for oil in Japan and Turkey, and all these countries need oil, so they buy oil. But less and less are using US dollars, and it does not mean the US dollar has value because people are using it to buy oil. It does not make it, oh, well, the US dollar has value. The US dollar has no value. And that's why Saudi Arabia doesn't want US dollars anymore. They're realizing, A, the US can't defend, and B, they don't have value for their dollar. It's gone. So that's the problem. So the inflation kills the value of the dollar. That's the problem with it. Hyperinflation is when prices rise faster than the money being printed. And that happens when everybody gets hysterical or hyper and runs to buy the groceries before the prices go up. Well, we're not really there yet. I'm not sure if we will get there, but that doesn't mean the inflation, that the dollar has a value just because we don't have hyperinflation. Again, prices aren't inflation, they're prices. That's the market. So in other words, in some of these countries like Zimbabwe or Venezuela or Germany, and you needed the wheelbarrow and the prices went up, that was the market. That was John raising the price, and you needed more Marks or Venezuela dollars, Zimbabwe, to buy it. That's all that meant. The guy hit a wheelbarrow with $1 billion, and it bought a cup of coffee. That's the value of the dollar dropping, but the price is based on the market, not always based on the market and the value of the dollar. So if the dollar's losing value, the price is going up, but you don't, just don't buy it. But that's really what it is. Hence the wheelbarrow, because I need $1 million to buy coffee. because you've killed the value of the dollar, not because the vendor's selling coffee at $50 million. That's not it. So anyway, that's the hyperinflation. That's the real definition, not the bullshit one that they give you. It's prices going up super fast, and that's because of the expectations of the people. The people get excited, creates the frenzy. It's just like the 1929 stock market crash. The prices started dropping in some stocks, and then everybody started selling, and then there was margin calls. And so people, I got to get out of my stock before it crashes, without understanding why they're in the stock in the first place and why it's crashing. We look at gold going down, and there's no reason for it. So we remain calm. We go, this is bullshit. We call it out because we understand what's happening. We understand it's COMEX. They're pushing the price down, selling options, trying to get out of margin calls, trying to get out of their derivatives. That's really what it is. We know gold's gold, and it can't be printed, and it's going up. So I had a conversation at the bank. So I went to the bank to put in a few $100s to cover a credit card before next week I get my Social Security. And I always have to put in a couple hundred because I spend a little bit more than my Social Security, which is fine. Sell an ounce of gold, I have money for a year. That's the game plan. Most people sell their stocks to do that. Once you retire, when you retire, you sell your assets that you've accumulated to live on, because you're just getting Social Security, maybe a pension if they even have them anymore. So you're basically, well, how do I retire? I'm not getting a paycheck. You're living on your assets. So that's what happens. So in my case, my assets are gold, silver, and my mantle cards. And most people are in stocks thinking they're okay. Well, I got Apple and Amazon, NVIDIA. I have these stocks. So I'll sell, 100 shares, and I have money for a couple months and until the market crashes. So that's why Trump's artificially keeping the market up, making the economy look strong when it's in fact weak. A lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of companies going out because they don't understand the market. These grocery stores are in big trouble. If Myers, which is a grocery store, and they sell appliances and clothes there, mouthwash and stuff, first aid, medical, they're in big trouble. They're in real big trouble because they're missing the mark of what the market will bear. And then all they do see is what the other, she said, well, there's another city called Brighton, about half hour away. Well, we're pricing it. We're the same as the Brighton store. I said, you missed the point. It's what the market will bear. It's what I will pay for. I'm not going to pay $3 something for an avocado. You're out of your fucking minds. I don't care whatever. All the Myers could be $3. I can go to Walmart and buy it for 59 cents. I bought like 10 of them on Saturday. Same thing. It's an avocado. I'm buying it for the health reasons of it. Very good antibiotic, very, very healthy. The best fruit you can buy. And so I do that. But if I can get it for 59 cents, why the fuck would I pay $3.50 or whatever you're selling it for? You guys have no idea what you're doing. It's the market. What I will pay for something is the point of it. Way over the hill. Yeah, but I'm not in Brighton, and I still won't pay $3 for an avocado in Brighton. You're out of your minds. You missed the whole picture. You go into business, and you must know what people will buy your product or service for. That's it. You want to make money betting on football, baseball, you pay me. You want to go to somebody else and lose money, you can pay them. It's as simple as that. $25 for baseball is the biggest steal of the century. So let's look at my baseball yesterday. Another winning day. I go 6-4 and I make 6 units. My locks go 3-0. Um, my lock, Milwaukee, which I gave you, Tampa Bay, and Boston, which I thought I lost with Ranger Suarez. Um, I thought I took the Ranger, and then I saw the score and I go, I guess I lost. And then I realized Boston won the game. All right, gold starting to climb back, 44.64. So it does this stupid drop at 10 o'clock. And then here, what was the point of the drop? Silver 74.62. All right, so let's look at yesterday's baseball. And then we'll walk through today's baseball. And I found two pitchers that are on losing streaks. So we start off Toronto 9, Baltimore 9, Toronto 5. I didn't play it. Again, I had bullpen pitchers, and there was no clear thing. And so we got a 9-5. Pittsburgh wins 9-3. I had Pittsburgh yesterday, 2 units. Basically betting against Minnesota, but Pittsburgh has good hitting. They have 5 or 6 good hitters. They were not like last year that couldn't hit. So I think baseball, what I sense is they're starting to go to guys that can hit, not guys that are up there for a walk that take a lot of pitches. That you need the guy that can hit, because the guy who just is up there for a walk, like the Tigers have Spencer Torkelson, the guy's up there for a walk. He's up there to do a 10-pitch at bat. That's all he's up there for. He's not up there to hit. Once in a while, he hits a solo homer. He's hitting like 190, and he's just there for a walk. And but we lose the game 4-0 because he's not hitting extra base hits. He's not even getting hits. He's just simply up there to get walks, to make the pitcher pitch. Well, just put a cardboard cutout of a guy and let him stand there. I mean, this is ridiculous. Washington. This was a play I had over 9. They win 4-2. Very strange. The pitchers were not good. Actually, this is where the total went down to 6. So I actually pushed on it. I had over 9, but it was total score was I don't know what happened. Boston, I have with Ranger Suarez. Cleveland has a bad pitcher, so I take Ranger to win, and they win 9-4. And I misread it. I said, I thought maybe I had it under, because I play Ranger under, especially against Cleveland. But no, I actually played Ranger. That was plus 102. So that was lock number 1. The JETSs beat Miami 10-1, and I am over 7.5. Should have been a lock. I didn't understand the low total in the game. Reds pitcher was losing a lot, and the Reds did win 6-4. The White Sox 2-1. I love the White Sox, but I didn't know the pitcher, so I couldn't bet them. I see I'm interneting for some reason. So I have I don't bet it, but I want to bet against the Tigers because they're a minor league team. I don't think they could beat like these college World Series teams. So we got the White Sox win 2-1, which I love. Texas 6, KC 3. I played KC with Seth Lugo. I got to stop playing Seth Lugo. Texas had nobody pitching, and they win 6-3. So that's a loser. The 49ers, I love the game over, but the total was all right. So the Niners win 19-6, 25. They got way over 11, but it's hard to lay 11, although the pitching did stink there. The next play, the Yankees minus 160. They win 13-8. They got 2 touchdowns by Scatterboo, 8 for Oakland. Stabler hit Dave Casper on a 2-point conversion. 13-8 Yankees. That's the winner. In our last game, the Dodgers beat Philly 9-1. I don't play it. And the Seattle wins 3-2 over Arizona. I don't play that. And then the Cardinals, for some reason, I think it's weird. The Cubs won like 6-1 on Saturday night, and the Cards win 5-1 on Sunday night. So the Cubs hit and then they don't, and St. Louis doesn't hit and then they hit. I'm surprised they both hit pretty well. I needed over 8.5 again, and I lost. So that was my loser. So I lost it. Washington over 9, which apparently was only 6.5. Atlanta lost, KC lost, and then St. Louis. So I go 6-4, hit all 3 locks, and we make 6 units. So even +4, +7, +5, +8, +6, +8, +6. Yeah, so we go 6 units. But I do hit the locks, and that's why you bet more on it, and that's why you bet the locks, but you got to get the locks. So that was yesterday's action. Let us go to June 1st. All right. Now, I did these early because I do email them to my customers. My guy's still working on it. He says, but it's taking a lot. It's a lot longer than it thinks. All right, we got Detroit at Tampa. Tampa minus 154 and 8. We got a guy named Madden on the mound and a guy named Jax for Tampa Bay. Madden shows him with a 0 ERA, but that's not true. He gave up 3 runs. I don't know how they're getting their ERAs. Well, actually, he's got a 2.38 ERA. So this is more accurate. He had a 4.3 ERA in 2024, didn't play 2025. 2026, he's got a 2.38, and he's mostly a bullpen guy. But he's only played 3 games in 2 years. Then we go to Jax from Tampa. No streak. And he's basically a bullpen guy. He's got a 3.6 ERA. He has started 6 games. Last year, he's mostly a reliever. He had a 3.6 ERA. He's always been a reliever. He's just starting to start now for some reason. He was at Minnesota. So he has like a 3, a 2, a 4.5, a 3.6, and a 3.6 ERA. So he's a 3.6 guy, which you should have no problem with the Tigers. So again, I don't know where they're getting this 1.71 ERA from. It's like they're not looking at if he doesn't start, they're not counting it. It's really weird. So I have a 2.3 guy who's pitched in 3 games and a 3.6 guy who's pitched in about 6 games. Tampa Bay is 154 and 8. Miami at Washington. Washington's 137 and 8. We got Alcantara, 4.8 ERA against Cavalier, 3.66 ERA. So let's see, Alcantara. Now he's a starter. And he struggles. He's always given up some runs. He usually goes 6 innings. Last time, 5 innings, 10 hits, 8 runs, 6 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs. Then a good appearance, 7 hits, 1 run, 5 and 2, 8 and 7, 7 and 2, 9 and 3. Gave up 7. So he has a tendency to give up a lot. His good game was against Tampa Bay, where he gave up 7 hits and only 1 run, and 2 runs against Washington. So he does have he gives up a lot of runs. Chevalier for Washington. And he's a starter, but he's gone 5 innings, 4 innings, 8, 4, 5, 8. Gives up a run and 2 runs and 3 runs, 2 and 6. So he usually gives up 2 to 3 runs a game, a 3.6 ERA. So can Miami hit in Washington? They both can hit. Sometimes they have good games, sometimes they don't. So keep that in mind. I do have a free pick for you. Cincinnati minus 191, 8.5. Avila for KC. Lucindor from Venezuela. So these guys are stuck with oil and they go. Now, this guy is on a 4-game losing streak. He gives up a lot of runs. For the year, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's 2-8 for the year. So we like that. But the problem is he's a bullpen guy, 2 and 3 innings. And so his ERA, well, I mean, we should have an ERA on the guy. He's got a 5.06 ERA. So again, I don't know why he doesn't say that on the thing. He started 1 game in 10, and he had a 1.29 ERA with 13 games, but that was as a reliever. So 5.06. Cincinnati Burns, this is their ace. Now, he's won his last 4, and the most he's given up, he gave up 5 runs once against California in April, and then since then, the most he's given up is 2 runs. Very good pitcher. 1.96 ERA, started all 11 games. Last year was a 4.57 guy. He's been a 5 and an 8 guy, so whatever he's doing, he's learned his pitch, and he's very good. So let's make this the free play. Cincinnati minus 215, 3 units. Your free play. You are welcome. Or Pajalster, if we're going to speak Russian. I just think this Burns is too good, and Cincinnati's at home in case he doesn't hit. I would probably go under, but Cincinnati can hit, and they score a lot at home. So let's go Cincinnati. That's your free play. Minnesota hosts the White Sox, who aren't bad. Minnesota's 152 and 8. We got Sandlin for the White Sox. Again, I got to look at all these pitchers because I don't believe they're ER. Joe Ryan, 295, yes. He's Minnesota's ace. He's the guy you either want to bet on or you bet under. Let's look what the Sandlin guy's doing. He's got a 150 ERA in 1 game. 6 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 run to Minnesota. We don't have enough to go on. If this was later on, we could go, oh, well, we could play this game under with Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan with the 295. And Joe Mama is, we know he starts. And he gave up 7 runs to the JETSs in April 23rd. Otherwise, it's 2 runs and a bunch of 1 runs. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4 2-run games, 3 1-run games, and 1 shutout. Well, that was a 10th of an inning, so I don't know what happened there. So Joe Ryan, the ERA's there if you want to take Joe Ryan. Milwaukee and the 49ers. The 49ers put up 19 points yesterday. Montana had a good game. So this is the Niners and the 49ers against the Packers. This is a good football game. Milwaukee minus 147, 7.5. Roop. Now here's the news on Roop. He has lost his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's lost 5 games in a row. He is a starter. 4 runs, a couple of 1-run games, 4 and 3, but he's lost his last 5. While Milwaukee, Drohan with a 13.50 ERA. He's a bullpen guy. That ERA is not 13.50. He's given up a couple. He pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 runs, gave up 1 run, shutout. There's no way this is a 13 ERA. Yeah, his ERA is 2.63. I don't know what they're. Yeah, it's a 2.63 ERA. So again, he's normally a bullpen guy, but the ERA is not right. So it's like you can't trust the ERA on here. You have to dig into the pitch. So that 13.50 is 2.63. The fuck are they doing? Again, analytics, AI. This is AI, so you can't trust it. You got to audit it, and you got to say, no, this is wrong. But everybody's going to trust AI. They're all going to get their ass kicked. So there you go. Roop on a 5-game losing streak. So you might take Milwaukee just for that reason. And I believe in team streaks, and I believe in obviously pitching. I played ball. I played baseball. And you get into a streak and you start hitting and then you stop hitting. I pitched a little, but I hurt my elbow. I didn't know how to pitch. I could throw. I played shortstop, second base, but you're just throwing the ball to the base. When you're pitching, you can't just throw the ball right down the middle. They will hit it. So you try to throw, up and down, inside, outside, but I didn't even know that. I didn't have any pitches. So I was not a good pitcher. I did not learn how to pitch. So anyway, Milwaukee over the Niners. Again, the Niners pitcher is bad. Texas goes to St. Louis. DeGrom 3.81, which I believe against McGreevy with the 3.0. He let us down last game. Texas minus 117, 7.5. I after watching St. Louis and the Cubbies, I'd probably think this is low scoring, but with the Grom, but I'm not. I'm done with St. Louis for a while until they start playing. And let's see, Colorado against California. Now, here's a stat that should interest you. California is minus 197.8, and Freeland for Colorado's got an 8.14 ERA. Soriano, pretty good pitcher with a 2.66 for California. Again, Freeland has lost his last 7, which makes this a California play with Soriano. So I'm going to give you the second free play today. And we're going to go also 3 units. Take California minus 213. So a few free plays to make you money till you start buying for $25 for a week. Shame on you people. Freeland with an 8.14 ERA anyway, and Soriano is a pretty good pitcher for California. It's at California, but when you add the fact that Freeland's lost his last 7, hey, John C., when he's lost his last 7, and Soriano's been pretty good. He beat the Servino, the guy on Oakland. So he's a pretty good pitcher. Let's see if he's really got a 2.66 ERA. Jose from the Dominican Republic. He's lost his last 3 also. He does have a 2.65 ERA this year. He had a 4.26 last year. 3.42, 3.6. So he's about a 3 pitcher, so 2.65, which is fine. They're at home, and Colorado's pitcher sucks. So we'll just go by the fact he's lost his last 7, and we'll say that's good. Now, the other one was Paddock on Cincinnati, so I have to keep a notebook on these pitchers. Paddock, 5-game losing on Cincinnati. All right. So we got Paddock, we got Roop on Frisco, and we got Freelander on Colorado, all on losing streaks as pitchers, them just individual, which is key because the pitcher, no, he's losing. The Tigers, probably all their pitchers are on losing streaks. The Mets go to Seattle. Warren, okay, Seattle minus 126 and 7. We got Warren with a 0 ERA. And He's a reliever, a bunch of one innings, and gave up 2 runs, and the rest are zero. So he's a pretty good reliever for the one inning. So he's good for one inning. His overall ERA is 140, but it's just one inning. Here you've got him starting, so he's going to go one inning, and then who's going to come in? And then Hancock with the 2.81 for Seattle, and he's no streak. He pitches 5-6 innings, so he gave up 5 runs once to the White Sox. I'll tell you, the White Sox, pretty good hitting team. A couple of 3 runs, a couple of 2 runs. His last 3, 0, 2, and 1, and then 5 and 1. So his last 5. So pretty good, although he does lose his way a little bit for Seattle. But the Mets, I don't know. Warren's going to go one inning and shut you out, and then we'll probably get that lefty coming in. I can't remember his name. To pitch the 2nd through the 6th inning. I hate that because I can't judge the game on the reliever with with this low ERA, but he's only going to pitch one inning. Well, that doesn't help me here. I don't know total. I don't know anything. I think it's the lefty that comes in, so he'll probably pitch 4 or 5 innings, and whatever. But I don't know how to, do I take Seattle? I don't know. Do I go under? Well, I don't know. So it really kills it with this. Let's start the bullpen guy for an inning. And our last game is the Dodgers at Arizona. I do like Arizona, but I am not touching it. The Dodgers are 156-9, and I can't understand why. Ed Sheehan, 4.66 ERA. Now he has won his last 4. He's got a 4.70 ERA. He's 10-10, 3-1 with the 4.70 ERA. And he's won his last 4. But then we've got Edward Rodriguez, and he has won. He's won, Jesus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's 8-1 his last 9. So you don't want to fuck with him. He's a starter, 5, 6, 7 innings, 2 runs, 0, 3 runs, 1, 0, 2 the last 6 games. So he had a 3-runner against Colorado, then came back and pitched a 7-inning, 4-hit shutout against Colorado. So even if you try to against certain teams, it doesn't work then either. So he's 8-1. He's pretty good. So I'm not playing this game, but I would swear Arizona is a good play with this Rodriguez guy. He's 8-1. He's a lefty. I don't know what that means against the Dodgers yet. Some teams, they don't matter. You're going to get, Freddie Freeman, I'm sure, is going to play. Shotani, I'm sure he's going to play, even though he's a lefty on the mound. So it's really hard to get a difference lefty-righty. Only the Tigers seem to interchange their guys. The 250 hitter and the 120 hitter are apparently equal. Very strange management style. So that's your place. I played 5. I gave you 2 free ones, Cincinnati and California. Cincinnati's got their ace on the mound. California has got their ace on the mound. So we're taking the aces. That's it. I did play 5 in total. And I'd have to say that now let's take a look at that Texas St. Louis, although I just want to stay away from St. Louis. They don't score, then they score, and they kill my overs twice in a row. DeGrom's lost his last 3, and he's struggled. He gave up 2 runs, then he gave up 6 runs in 3 innings and 4 runs, then a shutout, and then 6 runs. So of his last 5, he's given up 6, 6, and 4. Pay attention. So he's not, let's just go under. It's DeGrom, and he's got a 3.77 ERA, which is basically what they're showing. McGreevy for St. Louis. I know he fucked us recently. He's lost two in a row. Gave up 5 runs, 3 runs, and then 1-0-0-1. So he had a good run, and then now he's starting to lose it. And he does have a 2.98 ERA, and it shows he's got a 3. So I'm leaving this game alone. I don't know what it is because St. Louis doesn't hit, Texas doesn't hit until they do. And DeGrom's had a couple of games. Is he tired? Is he injured? Whatever. And McGreevy's about a 3. So you don't know what to think. Maybe it's an under game, but I don't want to touch him. So that is it. NBA is not till Wednesday. Let's see if we have a line on that. So again, baseball, $25 for the whole week of this. And you can't lose. Oh, I went to the NFL. All right. And we still don't have a line. Game 1 is Wednesday. The Knicks at the Spurs. 8:30 Wednesday on ABC, but no line. Today's Monday. I would imagine we have it tomorrow because they're missing betting opportunities. Any news in the NFL? So let's talk about the Tigers manager. The Tigers are winning 1-0 yesterday. And this Cater Montero, who's a pitcher, has 65 pitches. He's shutting out Chicago. And what does he do? Excuse me, just a second. Pardon me. So they're winning. Let's go into the box score. So the White Sox win 2-1. So Montero pitches 6 innings, gives up 2 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts. And he's only pitched 65 pitches. And why doesn't he pitch the 7th inning? So Anderson comes out and gives up 4 hits and a 2-run homer. And Montero's ERA is 3.69. Anderson's is 4.03. And so the question is, what are you doing? Why would you pull the guy who's pitching a 2-hitter? Isn't that the point of what you're trying to do? Is the guy's hot, let him pitch. And the guy goes into some bullshit about, well, the analytics, they had lefties coming up, which obviously he's pitched 6 innings. They haven't hit him. He's given up 2 hits. So that didn't make sense. So what the fuck you doing? You've got the you've got a 2-hit shutout going after 6. Why would you pull him? Especially with 68 pitches. I can see 90. I can't even see 98, to tell you the truth. I don't buy this bullshit of the pitch count, but why would you take him out? So they push him on it and say, well, what are you doing? Even the announcer on the radio at the time said the teams, they can't hit the guy, and they know they can't hit the guy, so they're all happy when you bring in a new pitcher. Which is what I always say. I'm sure when Nolan Ryan left the game, they had a party. If he left the game in the 8th inning, and then they could win, because you could always hit the other guy. He's easier to hit. But the way Montero was throwing, this is what you're waiting for, and you pull him after 6, to rest his arm? 68 pitches? So terrible managing. This guy should be fired. First of all, he's got to steal signs at Houston to win the World Series. He got caught stealing and he lied about it. I didn't know anything about it. Well, he doesn't seem like the manager at the Tigers that wouldn't know what's going on. They clearly steal signs at home. That's why they were good for a little bit of last year. And they couldn't steal them after that. And they went on, everybody starts hitting 150. And, he pinch hits. He's got Carpenter guy who's a pretty good hitter, and he's got them all fucked up because he keeps pinch hitting the right-handed guy for him. When a lefty comes into the game, he brings in the righty who's hitting 082 for a guy who's probably close to a 300 hitter, but he's so fucked up he's hitting like 220 because he's probably upset that you keep getting pulled. I don't care. Okay, I get pulled for Mickey Mantle, but when I get pulled for a guy who's hitting 188 or 88, you don't think I can hit? It's like the lefties cannot hit lefties, but the righties they bring in don't hit either. They hit 080. So even if you're pinch hitting, the odds on the guy you're pinch hitting me for aren't going to hit. So what the hell are you doing? And so this is the problem with the manager. You might as well have a monkey do it because he's just, it's a lefty, I got to pinch hit for a righty. But when your righties are hitting 085, no, there's no point in hitting the righty. He can't hit. And keep in mind, he's 085 only against left-handed pitcher. The right-handed pinch hitter only hits against lefties. And he's hitting 085 or 90 or 100. So what the fuck is that? That's just retarded. I could see if he hits 300, do it. But when he's not even hitting 100 and he's only facing left-handed pitching, you got to that whole little, analytics doesn't work. Well, let's go for 4th down against the Eagles. Yeah, we tried it 5 times and we didn't make it once. Yeah, you're not going to make it against Jalen Carter. Hate to burst your bubble. against this defense, you're not making it. I was shocked the Redskins did it in the 84 game. I was watching against the Bears, and then the 46 defense was there, and Buddy Ryan, and they ran Riggins, and they did get it once, but most of the time, they just punted the ball inside the 10-yard line. That's how you play. Joe Gibbs didn't fuck around. It's 4th and 1 at the 40, punt. Every time, punt. The only time they went was when it was at the 2-yard line. It was 4th down for the touchdown because they were down 20 points. But that's what you have. So this analytics doesn't work, but do people question, does it work? AI, well, it sounds good, but do you question AI working? No. So if the manager's just going to go off of analytics and just say, oh, it's a lefty, I got to bring my righty in, even though he can't hit, and he's only hitting lefties and he can't hit, what are you doing? You're not giving yourself a chance to win. The Tigers should have won. Well, I don't know if they would have won, but this guy should have at least went probably 8 innings yesterday. They couldn't hit him. And he gives up, the guy comes out, gives up a 2-run homer. You're down 2-1. And then just the 8th inning, and there's no 9th inning for Chicago because they had the lead. And the Tigers can't hit. So the Tigers are just this terrible team. They can't hit. Terribly managed. Well, it's a lefty. I got a better righty. I mean, that's not managing. So you're fucking up your hitters because your hitters are now going, well, maybe I can't hit. Oh, gee. Or I'm pissed. He keeps pinch hitting me. What the fuck's going on here? That causes dissension. If I got pinch hit, I'd be really pissed. I can hit. I hit very well against righties or lefties. It doesn't matter. What the fuck are you doing? And I remember I hit a righty. My buddy was on the other team. This was Pony Colts. I'm like 13, 14 at this time. And we're playing with a real big field, like 350 to right center. And I come up with the bases loaded, and he pass ball. And he finally gives me a strike, and I just nail it to right center, a triple. Should have been a home run. But I nail it all the way to the swimming pool. I'll never forget that. And it was a righty, and I hit him really good, nailed it, bases loaded. So, like, why do you think righties can't hit righties and lefties can't hit lefties? Where are you getting this from? Well, analytics, yeah, but it's not specific. It's not looking at what the pitchers and the hitters are. So you can analytic Sandy Koufax and you can analytic Bob Gibson, but you're just analytically putting in the whole bunch. And this is the problem with football. It's 4th and 1. Go for it against whom? The Redskins, the Lions, some of these weak defensive teams versus the Chiefs and Denver and Baltimore and Philadelphia. Then you need more than you cannot just have this one massive analytics. You have to break it down by team almost, which they don't want to do. They're just selling, hey, analytics works. And these idiots are just saying, yeah. And meanwhile, we get 10 NFL coaches fired each year. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And the guy at Oregon should be fired as he keeps going on 4th down, losing games. They think he's a good coach. He's not a good coach. He's an idiot. 4th and 1 at your own 50 in a big game against Washington. You should be punting. Oh, we're going for it. We're going to run up the middle. We're not going to get it. We're going to lose the game. But my, what a great coach he is, huh? All right. NFL starts in 100 days. A.J. Brown makes social media move ahead of, who cares? Prime Jr. earned $17 million in licensing income. What kind of licensing income? I don't want to read it. I don't really care about Prime Jr. Pukanuka reflects on experience and holistic care facility. Who cares? All right. So my adventure at the bank. So I'm putting money into the account to cover some expenses, and not a lot. And mostly Social Security covers everything. So it's a wash. So I've worked for 50 years now. I'm enjoying, I can get up, I can do class, I can go to the pool, I can cook, and I don't have to be a slave and go to work. Um, I have a lot of assets in gold and silver and the baseball cards I show you. So I'm fine. And so I'm at the bank and I asked so are we going to digital dollars? And she looks at me like, oh, not that I've heard of. I don't know if I can trust her or not, but I'm like, okay. Have they talked about a new currency? USD number two, or the stablecoin crap? Not that I know of. Is that a no or a yes? So I really can't get answers out of the bank, except for they're not going to crypto, as far as I know. And there's too many mafia tell you, and too many government people that need this undercover money where it's not trackable. So there's too many people like that. So we'll be using dollars, even though we know it's not worth anything. Then I go to the teller and give her the deposit. And then she says, "Oh, well, what are you doing for retirement? Do you have a plan?" I go, "Yeah, gold and silver." "Well, you want to talk to an advisor?" I go, "No, I got gold and silver. What is he going to tell me? I don't want to be in an annuity. I don't want to be in a mutual fund. I don't want to be in paper. It's not worth anything." So I was pretty clear with her. I think she got the message. I'm like, "Look, it's gold and silver. That's the key. You can't be in the market. You can't be in dollars. So what the fuck?" I did see where they are trying to put. Uh, I was watching one video and the guy's like, "Oh, we're gonna make stablecoin converted to the dollar." In other words, we're going to pay off the debt because the stable coins will be buying treasuries because they'll be backed by the dollar. That's coming in this Genius Act or whatever. And who's that? Oh, a stock tip, just what I want. So they were saying with this Genius Act, which takes effect next January, that the stable coins will have to, or the crypto will have to be backed by dollars, and they'll have to buy treasuries to back the stable coin to dollars. Well, since the dollar's not worth anything, uh, where's the stable coin? This is their way of paying down the debt. Is we'll get the stable coin to buy the treasury. Nobody's buying the treasuries, so we're going to make the stable coins back their stable coin by treasuries. Well, I don't know anybody who has them anyway. The fact that they're backed by dollar doesn't help them. The right now, the crypto, the Bitcoin it's valued in dollars. I don't think it's backed by anything. It's basically worthless. If you don't have anything, if it's not backed by anything, it's worthless. Gold is gold. Silver is silver. A Mano card's a Mano card, and a Rolex is a Rolex. That is the final. That's the point. But not Bitcoin is not anything, and it's not backed by anything, so it isn't. So the others, that's what it's backed by, right? Gold is gold. That doesn't need to be backed by anything. Same as silver, same as the Mano card is the Mano card. That's the backing. A stable coin isn't anything. It's not real, and it's not backed by anything, so it has no value. So you're trying to say, well, it's going to be backed by the dollar or or treasuries. Well, but they're not worth anything. So the stable coin's really not worth. So that was his big point. Well, we can pay down the debt because they'll buy, $1 trillion in treasuries. Yeah, but it's already at 40 trillion. So really, what are you saying? So I think there was one other thing I wanted to read. Anyway, we looked at the value of money. It's what money can purchase, and it's going down as you see. You know, what cauliflowers 3.99 a head. So that's what money can purchase. Not a lot. The market talks in prices. As the prices go up, the value of money goes down, and that's what's happening. Money doesn't buy what it used to. That's the whole key to it. Um, so, I mean, that's really what the problem is. Only the banking system can increase the money supply, and that's the Federal Reserve right now. The medium of exchange is what everybody wants. So that's where we get dollars from. And that's where we're going to gold, is what everybody will want for the medium of exchange. Originally, cows were the medium of exchange. So again, it's got to be scarce. If it's overabundance, it loses value. Well, we're overabundance. And it really doesn't matter that there's the petrodollar. It might create demand, but it's not limited. It's overabundant. You've produced the supply is too big in paper, gold, and well, in dollars. I'm sorry. The supply in dollars is 100 trillion. It's too big. There's too much of it. The value is gone, right? Qualities of medium exchange scarce, overabundance loses value. So the value is gone. It doesn't matter if it's the reserve currency or the petrodollar, and everybody needs dollars. They might need them, but you've created too much of a supply where it's worthless, and that's what you have. So that's the key to it. Uh, very high uh, demand in it. So keep that in mind. So just because that people need the dollar to buy oil, which they don't anymore, the yuan or gold will buy oil. Just because they need it doesn't mean it has a value. You've printed too much of it, the value's gone. The value's been gone for a long time, since 1971, when you get off the gold standard. The value of the dollar's dropped. The fact that people need it to buy oil or not does not give it a value. The fact that there's demand for it does not give it the value, but it will go out when there is no more demand. So what they're saying is, well, but there'll be a demand to buy oil. That's the demand, so that'll keep the dollar around. But it won't. It might be demand for the dollar to buy oil, but does not make the value of the dollar worth anything. The value is gone. It's zero. You printed it. It has no value. The fact that they want oil for oil, dollars for oil, does not make the dollar have value. It's just, I need to buy oil with it, and I'll use this worthless dollar to buy it. But that doesn't mean it has value, as we can see going to the grocery store and paying $2.28 for broccoli heads is not good. So that's really where what you're looking at is the value being really worthless. But and so now, not only that, does Saudi Arabia still want the dollar for oil if it's worthless? So they're starting to take yuan. They'll take things that they can convert to gold for. They prefer gold for oil than dollars for oil, and they're not going to buy treasuries for it. So the whole thing's been a scam, that you got to buy You got to buy dollars to buy oil, and everybody needs oil. And then Saudi Arabia gets all these dollars, and what do they do with it? Well, they'll buy treasuries. And that, that was the key. And then we could spend at a deficit and have this large debt because that Saudi Arabia is going to keep buying our treasuries, the IOU bonds. But that's ending. They're realizing it doesn't have a value, and they're gonna, but it shows you how weak the other dollars are. They don't want Turkish dollars or, well, everything's euro. I'm surprised they don't want euro or British pounds for their dollar, that it has to be in US dollars. So I think that's all going, and the US shows they can't protect them. So I think the whole thing's blown up. And even if it is, Saudi Arabia they might get dollars in, but China gets dollars for their products, but they're not buying treasuries anymore. They're dumping them. They might buy gold with it. So they take the dollar, you can buy gold with it. You don't have to buy treasuries with it, and you don't need to get it back to the dollar. So they take the dollar, they go buy gold from Switzerland, and they're much happier than buying treasuries. And that's why we see gold moving up until recently when it's been stuck. But usually we'll see a spike sometime soon. It's just the way it is. Hopefully June will be a good month, or we can get back to 5,500 gold and get back to 8,000-9,000 gold where it should be. It'll run, and it'll run soon because it's kind of dropping, but just these temporary JP Morgan selling shorts. But again, that's running out because then the buyer of the option, there has to be a buyer, wants the physical delivery of gold for it. So they're actually able to buy gold at 4,500, so they buy it. It's probably 5,500 or so in China, right? So they want to bet, but that's what's happening. So the petrodollar, just because that you need dollars to buy oil does not mean the dollar has a value. And even the oil price is bullshit, 80 some dollars, when we know it's probably $150, $200 a barrel for oil in the real market. But again, COMEX price fixing, and so see, they've got to keep the oil price down to keep the demand for oil, because when it gets too high, they're going to try to get out of oil. Electric cars aren't going to help. Nobody wants them. So I don't know. I don't know if this whole war is about the electric industry and getting away from oil, which you can't get away from, obviously. As soon as you start raising the price, people are bitching. And so I don't see there's an alternative to oil. I'm going to fill my car with gas. I'm not using electricity. And no matter what, it's not going to spark me to use electricity. And the oil companies aren't going to sit for it. Mobil and Shell and everything, you think they're going to turn their back on? Well, I guess then nobody will fill their car with oil anymore. Anyway, let's see if there's any videos that I did want to. I kind of mentioned some videos that I did talk about. All right, let's see. I started watching this. We're fucked. $40 trillion in debt. That might have been the one on the petrodollar or whatever. All right, here, I'm going to show you this one. Mariano Rivera pitching to Barry Bonds.
There's a long one to right field. Forget about it. This one is headed for New Jersey. High into the upper deck. So here is the matchup that the Yankees players were hoping to see. The great slugger, the home run king, Barry Bonds, a left-handed hitter against the great closer, Mariano Rivera, who is death on left-handed hitters. And the pitch to Bonds is a strike here second. Wilson plays off the line at third. Pitch way inside. Aurelia with the lead. And Bonds swings and fouls it back, and they got 1-2. A pitch right in on the fist. So 1-2 to Bonds. Now the crowd rising as one en masse at Yankee Stadium. It is an unbelievable scene. Everyone standing, cheering, applauding. Get ready for Rivera's 1-2 to Bonds. It'll be a 1-2. The pitch is high and tight into the game. All 55,000 of them. The 2-2 is grounded foul of his foot. Wow. It'll be a 2-2 to Bonds. The pitch. He struck him out swinging. Fastball up and in. So Rivera strikes out Bonds. And now here is Jeff Kent.
When these coaches mix.
We won't see Jeff Kent. Now that's baseball. Rivera in the ninth inning. Bonds is not trying to up the pitch count. He's swinging. All the pitches, if you notice, he put them inside, tied them up, nothing out over the plate, threw them exactly where he wanted. That's professional baseball. What we have now, I don't know. It isn't. Anyway, so I just thought you'd get a kick out of that. I liked it. Anything in history worth seeing? This one here, it will be over soon. Record number of Americans have stopped paying their debts, their credit cards, their mortgages. And this is the beginning of it, right? People are unemployed. We're in a depression. Only nobody wants to say it, but I'm saying it. What is a depression? It's a slowdown of the economy. The economy's not growing. But what does Trump do? Oh, look at the stock market. Charlie, keep printing money and putting it into the stock market. Maybe the Saudis are putting the petrodollar stuff into the stock market instead of buying bonds. Hey, look, the economy's fine. Look at the stock market. It hit 50,000. It's bullshit because it's not the market putting the money in. Anytime you get off the market, it's not real, and that's what you have. So you have people getting desperate. They're not paying their bills. They can't. They're not paying. They might pay the mortgage. They won't pay the utilities. They might pay the utilities and the car payment. They're not paying the mortgage. And so we're all fucked. So first of all, who gets killed? The banks, because the banks are relying on this money. That's how a bank lives. That's their revenue, and you're cutting their revenue off. And they don't get it. So that's the biggest problem you're going to have there is they're not. We're fucked. When will the national debt become an actual problem? It's already an actual problem. $40 trillion debt. You can't pay it back. You're bankrupt. Well, we're the government. We can't go back. We can just print money. You're bankrupt. You cannot have 40 trillion in debt and just ignore it. And you can't pay it off with stable coin, buying treasuries. And the treasuries are only to keep, so we get like $3 trillion in taxes, but we spend $7 trillion in expense. So we're minus $4 trillion. And that's just in money you know about, not all the defense contractors, all the government cheating, all the money being printed for stocks, and bailing out the banks. Why do we always bail out banks? Doesn't make sense to me. They should be treated like any other business. But then you also have where there was a law, the Glass-Steagall law, which said you can either be a commercial bank or an investment bank. Commercial bank's what we deal with. I just went to a commercial bank and gave money, put in my account to pay a bill. The investment bank is you're putting your money in a mutual fund or buying a stocks or real estate trust or something like that. That's what a investment bank is. And keep in mind when you see BlackRock, they're a big investment. They don't have, it's not their money, it's your money. So we're all putting in money to BlackRock, and they say, well, look how it's not their money, it's ours. All they're doing is trying to manage the money, but they charge, where they fuck us, is a lot of management fees. They're hidden, so you don't know. They're just charging an arm and a leg in management fees. So I would never put my money in an investment bank. If you don't know what you're doing, you probably shouldn't play the game. You should never be in stocks because you have no idea. And you think football games, baseball games are manipulated. You haven't seen anything yet in stocks. They're the most bullshit. And then you have gold and silver being manipulated down, but the demand in the market would be much higher. Again, gold, you have to get out of the dollar. You have to go in gold. It's your only lifeboat. And silver, you don't have an option there. But the banks are in big trouble. The debt is in big trouble. You're not saving it with Bitcoin and all that. That's just bullshit. So if Bitcoin has to buy treasuries, where are they getting the money from? Where does Bitcoin get the money? People give the money, they get the Bitcoin. So they don't have any money. U.S. economy could implode, but I don't like when Colonel Douglas McGregor talks about it. He's a colonel. He doesn't know anything about the economy. He's usually wrong. He quotes Ray Dalio, like, really? But in this episode, he actually quotes me by saying, well, it's like the Titanic sinking. And I'm like, well, I wonder where you heard that from, Charlie. But he won't give me credit for it. That's okay. I got 20 years of proof here. So this is the one I was looking at. America prints trillions. Why hasn't the dollar collapsed? And they're saying because of the petrodollar, but everything he says is incorrect. Well, there's demand for the dollar, so that keeps the value up. No, the dollar has no value. That's what I was getting to. It doesn't matter if they need it to buy oil, it's still worthless. So if it's worthless, it doesn't buy crap. And so because they manipulate the oil price down is why that should be $10 a gallon anyway, because of the inflation, as well as gold should be much higher because the dollar's worth less. So really, it's a joke. Anyway, and then I always love this one.
It takes 90 seconds for this NASA-engineered AC cool down your...
My favorite, John Vandeleur choking at Carnoustie with a 3 or 4 shot lead and put him on into the water and everything. If I was his caddy, he'd be getting a 7-iron off the tee and a 7-iron second shot and a 7-iron third shot or a wedge. And I'd have told him, if he says I want my driver, I would have told him to fuck off. You're too stupid to be a pro golfer with a 3 or 4 shot lead on the last hole where there's water and burn and a brick wall to be firing drivers and 3 woods or 3 irons at the course. You're out of your mind. Ain't gonna happen. Not on my watch. But I love watching him choke. And I love his wife sitting there laughing at him. That was my best part. That's about it. It's about football games. I like watching these, like the 67 Colts versus Packer game. It's 25 minutes. You get the game, the Lions, Packers, Mark Raw. So I've been watching that kind of stuff on Sunday when it's better than whatever's on there. Anyway, so that's about it. Again, baseball, I gave you two plays, Cincinnati, 3 units, California, 3 units. That's the Angels is California. They're hardly the Dodgers. They were the California Angels. They still are. I don't like when the teams change their names, like the Oakland Raiders is the Las Vegas Raiders. No, it's the Oakland Raiders. That's the brand. That's what we like. Fred Blitnikoff, Stabler, Dave Casper, they're the Oakland Raiders. They're always the Oakland Raiders. Well, call them LA. Let's call it the line to gain. Instead of the IR, let's call it the IL, the injured list instead of injured reserve. Why are you changing names? Now, why is it the line to gain instead of just the first down? Did he get the first down? Well, he didn't get the line to gain. What does that even mean, the line to gain? I'm so sick of these socialists trying to push it in. I don't really quite understand what they do. And then if you notice, the other is on their back, Joe Brown Jr., Joe Brown the third, Joe Brown the fourth. That's all socialist too. I really don't understand it. Why do you need to put Junior on there? Just put Joe Brown on there. That'll work. So I don't like all that. Anyway, let's check our goal before we leave. We can't bet basketball till we know what the line is. And let's see. All right, gold. So we're at 44.67. So we were down to 44.50. We got up to 44.77 and now back to 44.67 coming back. Silver 74.73. So I have no interest in selling my silver now. Some guy in the pool asked me, well, have you sold any of your gold? And I says, why? This isn't really to sell. Okay, I'm going to sell 1 ounce because I need money for a little bit extra bills that I have over Social Security. So not a lot, a couple $100 a month. So I sell 1 ounce and it covers me for 2 years. That's all. I mean, I'm just, but 99.5% of my gold and silver, I have no interest in selling, nor should I, nor should you. Because if you do, you're back in this and you don't want to be. This has no value. So you don't want to sell your gold, get this and hold this and watch the value of this drop. You don't want to be in the stock market because it's going to lose. And that's it. So I don't know why everybody, they invest to make money, obviously, but you make more money in gold and silver because it's real money and you're not going to lose money on it. But anytime you take your money out of gold and silver and you put it back into the dollars, you're fucked. Once you put it into dollars, it's worthless. So if I change 1 ounce into dollars and I'm using that to pay some bills every month, well, that's fine. That's because it's used for that, and I got to pay that. So that's what I'm looking at. Otherwise, that's it. So let's get gold back. Let's get it. I'm waiting to get like 5,000. Now I'm done for the month as far as the bills. So I really have till July 1st. And even then, I have some money where I might not need to, I might have enough money in the safe to cover those bills. So I might have till August 1st. And then we start getting football money in middle of August. So I'm set till at least July 1st with money in the safe. So I don't really need to cash the gold yet. I do want to cash one, and it might only be a half an ounce. If I can get back to 500 and I can get $2,500, then that might be fine. And we'll have to see. But that's about it. So I got to call. I have 3 gold stores. I want to see what they're paying for it. So again, I'm shopping. I think I'm going to get 96% on my Eagles, but I might get 95% on my Cougaran and my Maple Leaf. I might cash one of those in because I paid far less for those than I did. The Eagle would be, let's say it was $3,000. The Eagle would be $3,100, but the Maple Leaf and the Cougaran were like $3,020. It was like an $80 savings. But if I can get 95% versus the 96%, I might take the 95% on the Cougaran and Maple Leaf. So I got to make a few phone calls and see what I can get. Because I haven't been there in a while and just need to know what. I know there's no 1099. Even if there is, it doesn't matter because my revenue, my income is like just Social Security. So I'd be in the 0% bracket anyway. Anyway, so keep that in mind. All right. Baseball, we got 2 new ones. Rupon, San Francisco's lost 5 in a row. They play tonight, and Colorado Freeland has lost 7 in a row, and that's how we arrived at California. Freeland's on a 7-game losing streak. We're taking California, and it's as simple as that. I mean, that's what you're looking. You're looking for anything with that. Oh, we haven't looked at the streaks yet. I don't think there was much in the mind of streaks. Maybe we did look at streaks. I know I looked at streaks earlier in the day, but it might not have been here. Okay, any streaks? Yeah, the White Sox. Yeah, I think I did. So the White Sox are on a 5-game winning streak. Minnesota's on a 5-game losing streak. Kansas City's on a 6-game losing streak, and Detroit's on a 4-game. So we might go against KC. I don't know if they were playing today. Let's look. Seattle's on a 6-game winning streak. And then the National, I believe, so I think I have looked and marked it. The Mets are on a 4-game winning streak. Miami's on a 5-game losing streak, and that's it. So let's see how that corresponds to today's games. The White Sox are playing. Let's see. The White Sox, they're at Minnesota, and Minnesota's on the losing streak. So why is Minnesota a 163 favorite, and the White Sox are on the winning streak, and Minnie's on the losing streak? Let me go to covers so I can see the pictures. So when we look at the White Sox, we got Sandlin with a 1.50 ERA, but he's a reliever against Joe Ryan. So that's why Joe Ryan's the favorite there. In the streak would be the White Sox, but I don't want to bet against Joe Ryan. KC, are they playing? KC's at Cincinnati. there's your free pick. It is Cincinnati with Burns with the 1.97 ERA. So that's okay. That's why Cincinnati's there. Bet against Detroit, against Tampa, Jacks with the 1.71 against this Madden, who's got like a 2 ERA, a reliever. And then Seattle, the Mets, and Miami. Miami is on a losing streak. Alcantara with a 4.80 against Cavalier. So you might bet Washington there. And then Seattle and the JETSs. Seattle plays the Mets. So this would be a Met play. I'm going to mark it but not bet it. This would be the NYMs. Well, no, the Mets are on a winning. Okay, no, this was, yeah, Seattle and the Mets. No, they're both on win streaks. All right, so scratch that. So the Mets and Seattle play each other. Miami, so that would be a Washington play. Cavalier against okay. So we're not going to bet it, but we're just going to, Washington's on the streak. Okay, so Cincinnati makes sense. They're going against Kansas City, and then the White Sox, Minnesota, it's White Sox, but we'll see what happens. And if, but I'm trying to be careful with just betting the streak. It's confusing because I've been losing on the streaks. The streaks are like going 4 games and fizzling out. And I usually don't like to start them until 4. So that's kind of what I have. And that's it. So let's look for gold and silver. It's funny, like, you don't even look at the stock market. We know that's fixed. We're just looking at gold and silver. Where's it at? Again, it's paper. It's not even physical. It's not real. It's the paper market. And so you can't even worry about the price. It's all bullshit. And I will leave you with that. Have a good day. $25 for the baseball. Today I've got 3-5 picks. And I try to be picky as I can. And we'll go from there. So I will do some more research. Yes, 40 trillion in debt. You're fucked. Gold and silver, the only lifeboats. Physical. You got to buy the coins or the bars. You don't want to buy Comex and stuff like that. Anyway, that's about it. So www.teaserking.com, $25 for baseball for the week. You can't beat it. And I have pretty much figured it out. So I'm pretty happy that, yesterday, 6 units, 10 units, 15 units, 2 units. Once in a blue moon, I do have a losing day, but most of my days I'm winning. I might win 1 or 2, but then I have the 10-unit plays and the 7-unit days and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Anyway, have a good one. Have some lunch, off to the pool. I got to make some chicken for dinner. And that's it. So have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. You can get my email and anything else. So have a good day. I will talk to you tomorrow.